Hi guys! Welcome to a short level 1 mat class that we're going to do this morning to greet the day. I guess the sun's over the trees, but it hasn't been for very long. So this is just a nice workout or a nice class to do if you just want to start your day off on the right foot. So we're going to start down on our backs on the mat. And as a little change from our normal, if you've done more than a few of those, we're going to start with our legs out straight. So find a comfy, lengthened position on the mat where the legs are straight, the toes can turn out a little bit, but they're close together. So your heels, they might touch or they're as close as is comfortable. You're still looking to have your pelvis in neutral, so that nice awareness of having level hip pointers with the pubic bone, to have neutral low back, small space behind the low back and the mat. And from the pelvis up, you're just trying to melt, you're trying to get the ribs to feel a little heavy and wide, that whole rib cage wide into the mat, the shoulder blades against the mat if possible, and just see if you can rest the weight of the head, if it can be a little heavier on the mat. And if you lay down and you find that the chin is higher, has a tendency to be higher than the forehead, then, don't hesitate to put a little cushion behind the head to help that neutral head and neck alignment, that forehead and chin being in a nice horizontal plane. And maybe once you warm up, you'll be able to get rid of that with a little cushion. And we're just going to take a nice breath in. And on that out breath, immediately connecting to our core, so a nice pelvic floor lift, the deep belly responding with a little bit of tension, a little bit of drawing in, and the low ribs narrowing on that out breath. Breath in to just expand and imagine the whole body getting wide. And just make this breath big and even. So big, beautiful breath in, lots of expansion into the sides of the rib cage, even thinking of breathing into the space behind the low back. A nice evenness to the in-breath and the out-breath. Lovely. And then we're going to shrug our shoulders. So on your breath in, you're going to slide those shoulder blades up towards your ears. And as you exhale, you're going to ears, reaching those fingertips down towards your feet. And then breathe in. And exhale. Long, elegant neck as those shoulder blades slide down your back and the fingertips reach for the feet. See if you can keep the same spine alignment. Still head and neck posture as you do this movement one more time with the shoulder. And to slide the shoulder blades up and exhale. Slide the shoulder blades down towards your feet. Pause halfway between the shrug up and the press down, so you're in your lovely neutral up and down there. And then keep the shoulder blades towards the ceiling with the fingertips. And on your exhale, press those shoulder blades back into the mat. Rib cage to lift. Okay? And you're getting wide between your shoulder blades, and as you breathe out, you're drawing the shoulder blades back and down towards the mat. Breath in and breath out. And just reach ahead. And straight. And we're going to just scissor the arms. So one arm is going to reach overhead. And I want you to really reach, you know, if you've done the right arm overhead, then the right arm is reaching overhead without that shoulder shrugging, and the left fingertips are reaching down towards your foot. Just for one hold like this where you're just waking up the shoulder there. And switch. And a pause here while you ask yourself, are the elbows straight? Are you really reaching nice and long but keeping the rest of the body still? And then we can switch a little bit faster. So it's a nice exhale to scissor. And the whole center of your body, the spine, the rib cage against the mat is staying nice and still as you warm up the shoulders in this movement. Good. For one more on each side. See if those ribs can stay still while the arms do the movement, and then pause with the arms towards the ceiling again. Bring the palms together. Keep the heels of the hands or the wrists together as you spread the fingers, and let the palms move away from each other as far as you can before you then separate the wrists and let those fingers lead toward. And once you get there, you can release them and just place all the hands on the mat, or the forearms, and exhale to come back to palms together. So it's that spread of the fingers and then the opening of the hands, and then wide, 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 wide. Whole chest, releasing that extension of the wrists as you get towards the mat, and bring it back up. And we'll do two more like that. So it's a nice spread of the fingers, an opening of the hands, opening up the whole chest and arms, and then exhale back to the center. Last time, big spread of the fingers, big opening of the hands while the wrists stay together, and then the fingertips are leading the way back. When they touch the floor, you sort of relax and put all the arms on the mat and back towards the ceiling. Place the hands down at your sides and actively just press the whole arm. Upper arm, forearm, hands into the mat, nice and alive there, and then relax and let go of some tension. Not that you should wake up with tension, but sometimes we do. So here we're just going to do a little bit of head rotation, and you're going to try to keep the head on the mat. And you can almost warm it up with like little movement, because I just want you to be a little lazy in the neck and warming this up here. So as things feel better and better, you can do a bigger motion, where eventually, yes, you're trying to look right over the shoulder, over the other shoulder, but you're leaving the weight of the head on the mat, so that you're really working on the alignment of the spine. Think of leading with the chin. So get the chin right over the shoulder, the chin right over the other shoulder. Obviously, there might be things that keep you from doing that. Old and injuries, lifelong posture, age, but you're doing the best you can to get the chin to rotate and not just the forehead, and leaning sort of towards the sky. So one more nice one to the right, and hold it there. Take a nice breath in. See if you can rotate just a little bit more while you think of lengthening and reaching the top of your head towards the upper part of your mat. That feels really nice. Back through the center, rotation to the left. Hold it there, and then think of getting taller, and see if you can rotate a little further. Lovely. And then back to the center. Good. Bend the knees. Still in that neutral pelvis. Take a nice breath in. And on your out breath, keep everything nice and still and bring that right knee up to tabletop. Lower it down and switch sides. So just warming up the leg connection with the deep core. You've sort of already done the arms. So in this exercise, you're looking to keep that pelvis nice and level. Minimal shift side to side. As you raise the left leg and lower, and as you switch to raise the right and lower. Good. And now if you'd like to add a little bit of arms, then as the left leg comes up, I'd like you to take the left arm overhead and then lower it back down. And this is much harder than it looks, to keep the spine nice and still while you do that motion with the arm and leg. And it doesn't mean that you have to do all your motions in life with a perfectly still spine while you move your arm and leg, but it's just having the ability to do that. So that if your spine needs a break and it doesn't need to be moving, 100% of your day, you can have the control of that while you, like reach up in the cupboard, or you step up on a stool, or you take the stairs. And it can be nice and effective in eliminating some back pain. Good. Let's hold this one up. So you've got the right arm overhead, the right leg in tabletop, and we're going to leave the arm where it is, and we're going to press the leg nice and straight. So point the toes, straighten the knee, lower it what you can control, and bring the leg back in. So just a little repeater with the leg. Using the out breath where you need it. I usually need it as I lower the leg to control that movement at the spine in that moment. It wouldn't be wrong to reverse it and use the exhale on your pull in if that's where you wobble. But really try to keep the leg close to the center, close to the midline as we do 2 more. And if it's ever too much in the shoulder, you don't have to hold it here. It's just to give a little bit of a different workout through the abdominals. Hold this one out nice and straight though. You can release the arm if you want to and bring it down to hold the pelvis, or you can leave it overhead. We're going to do 4 circles with that leg, where you're really trying to make it the leg that moves. The pelvis doesn't wobble. The pelvis stays rooted to that mat, nice and steady. Reverse your circle for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Beautiful. Bring it in, bring that arm in, and then just hug the knee into the chest. Just nice and gentle. Breathing in, maybe giving yourself a little space, backing out of that stretch, and then exhaling to bring that knee in a little bit further. That feels good. A nice movement in the morning. Perfect. From there, just hold the knee with the right hand, and you're going to let that knee open out to the side a little bit, if that feels right. That's what's comfortable. Bring it back through the center. Take the left hand to the knee, and bring it across the body a little bit. Just what feels comfortable. Again, just warming up the hip a little bit. Not an intense stretch, but just getting some movement because we're going to do some bigger circles later. You can release that leg down. We'll do the same repeater with the other side. So arms at your sides. Left leg up to tabletop. If you're doing the arm 2, the arm is overhead. The ribs are held back. And on your exhale, you're straightening the left leg, lowering it what you can control, and bringing it back in. Exhale, and back in. Exhale, and back in. Right? So if you had a hot cup of coffee balanced on your low tummy, it would just stay there. Nice and still, no wobble side to side. Hold this one out. You can release the arm if you want to feel the pelvis staying nice and still, or you can leave the arm overhead for your 4 circles. Use your out breath where you feel yourself wobble a little bit. And you can do, I guess I should have said it as we started, you can do this whole series on the ball, on the little mini ball, the blue mini stability ball, but you also get great feedback from having the back of your pelvis against the mat and trying to increase that awareness of that sacrum or that center of the back of your pelvis staying nice and still. And bring that one in, release the arm, and then just hug that knee in towards your chest like we did on the other side. A nice pull of that thigh in towards the chest. If it ever bothers to hug the shin or the front of the knee, you can always just grab behind the thigh and you get the same movement at the hip. Breathe in to just release a little bit. Exhale to draw in, release a little bit. Draw in and then hold just with the left hand or the same hand, and then bring that knee out to the side. A little opening in that hip. Come back into the center. Switch so that the opposite hand is holding the knee, the right hand's holding the left knee, and bring that across the body a little bit. It might just be a little bit, or you might be able to put your foot on the other side of the knee that's bent and just get a little bit of length in that outer hip. Good. Perfect, and then lower it down. We're going to straighten out the left leg, and we're going to bring the right leg up to tabletop. Nice and neutral in the pelvis. Okay. And the hands are going to stay at your sides, and you're just going to do circles with that thigh. So think about the kneecap being like a pencil tip, and you want to trace a big circle on your ceiling with the pelvis staying still. So your hands can either be on your pelvis or at your sides. Breath in to prepare, and then let that knee go out to the side. Down and around and back to where you started for a little pause. Circle. And where we just did little circles with the whole leg, I'd like you to see if this one you can make it big, right? Not so big that you're moving the whole pelvis around, but really get the leg to do a big movement while you're holding still through the waist and with the core. Let's reverse after this one. So pause when you get to the center, and then let that go across the body, down and around. And it doesn't really matter, right? This is about movement of the thigh, the upper leg, in a nice long circle. And we'll do one more. Should feel pretty nice. Good, release nice and straight. And we'll bring the left leg up to tabletop. And when you're ready, that leg moves out to the side, down and around. And I find it's easier to steady the pelvis if you think of like the leg, the whole thigh lengthening towards the ceiling, especially as you go out to the side. If you think in that moment that pencil is having to reach for the ceiling a little bit, then that can help keep that pelvis a little bit still. Let's reverse here. The direction. And as we go, final movement, circle, just ask yourself, body, the head, the neck, the shoulders that you warmed up. You're not letting tension in there just because you're focused so much on the waist and pelvis. Good. Last circle there, and release it down. We're going to do one more circle, or one more exercise, and then we will stretch it out. So coming back to bent, one leg to tabletop, second leg coming up, only if you can control that neutral pelvis so that you're in tabletop. Otherwise, you could leave one leg on the mat and just do the switch that we did at the beginning. But this is our toe taps. This is not a beginner level. You've done a bit. You're able to hold the abdominals in and be in this tabletop position. Or they can be overhead towards the ceiling. And as you lower the right leg, as if you're going to tap the toe on the mat, you're looking for the moment where the spine would shift or the abdominals would lose their connection and sort of lift or bulge towards the ceiling. So hold the abdominals back. Maybe the toe taps the mat, maybe it doesn't get all the way down, that's okay. And come back up. And tap. And come back up. And if you'd like to, if you're an experienced level 1 and you want to add the arms reaching overhead a little bit, then you can do that. But that does take quite a bit of abdominal strength to make sure that the low ribs stay held back towards the mat and to make sure that that pelvis is actually staying nice and still. Let's just try 2 more of whichever version you're doing. Don't feel you actually have to get the toe to touch the mat, right? It's what you can control. And there we go, beautiful. Good. From there, just hug that right knee in towards the chest. Let the left leg straighten out nice and long so that you almost get a length in the front of the hip where you just worked. And just 2 nice breaths there. Try to have the elbows wide and the shoulders away from the ears and the head and neck relaxed. Switch, pull the left knee in towards the chest, the right leg's nice and long. Good. Then we're going to take the legs and have the sit bones, the feet sit bone width apart, the arms at your sides. Take a nice breath in, and on your out breath, allow that low back to settle into what we call. Press through the feet, squeeze the bum, and lift the back of the pelvis, the low back, to come up to a nice low bridge position. Breathe in at the top and peel it down, one bone to the back at a time. Nice breath in when you're down. Exhaling to peel it back up. See if you can keep even weight on each foot through that motion, right? I've got this little wobble that I do. And I'm not going to be overly concerned with moving it out this morning. I'm just going to see what happens as I repeat. So exhaling to peel it up. Is the weight evening out on each foot? Is the movement becoming a little more smoother for you as you wake up things, as you release a little bit of lingering tightness from yesterday's work? This is feeling nice and smooth now. Maybe take one more to make sure you're feeling the same way. Breath in at the bottom, exhaling to come up. Good. And holding this one open at the top. And we're going to keep the left leg still. We're going to open the right knee out to the side and bring it back to the center. And then switch and do the same with the left. So here the goal is the pelvis is not only level, but it's also still from side to side. So as the right knee goes out to the side, pelvis doesn't shift from center line. And the left knee, if it's staying still, stays nice and still. It doesn't go out to the other side as a counterweight. So just try 2 more on each side. Right knee out to the side, bring it back to the center. If you're flexible in the hip and strong in the supporting leg, then you might get to roll to the outer edge of the foot, the sole of the foot coming off the mat. That's okay. That's your intention eventually. Perfect. Last one, take a nice breath in here. And if it feels right, take those arms overhead, put them on the mat behind you. Lift the hips a little bit higher if it feels good. And then leave the arms there as you peel down and you get some length. Length through the body. Beautiful. Good, we're gonna quickly bring our arms to our sides, like right out from the shoulders. And we're just gonna do 2, keeping the knees together, 2 rotations through the spine. So knees to the right. Breathe in when you're there. Peel everything back through the center. And to the left. And back through the center. To the right. And to the left. And I say we're just going to do 2 because we're going to roll onto our sides now and sort of continue this rotation of the spine, but inside lying. So come right over onto whichever side works for you. I'm coming onto my right. And just keep the knees bent and stacked. If you're comfortable, the hands are stacked in front of you. And the head's at a bit of an awkward angle when you start, but once you roll back, it's in line with the rest of the spine. Or you can cradle the head, or you can even put a cushion there. Whatever feels good to do this nice rotation. The knees stay pressed together. Take your breath in to prepare. Float that top arm up towards the ceiling and turn your head to look at it so that you get organized here. The nose is lining up with the thumb, the shoulders down away from the ear. And then keep it rolling back with the nose and the thumb in line. Take your breath in when you feel a bit of tension, a little bit of resistance. One full breath cycle here. And on your next exhale, bring it back to the center, or back to the start, and we'll do another one. Breath in, float the arm up. Line the nose up with the thumb. Keep it rolling back, rolling back, rolling back, rolling back. Oh, doesn't that feel good? Try to keep the knees together so that you really feel this as a movement through your rib cage. and upper waist as opposed to down in the pelvis. Reach wide across the chest before you close it back up, bringing it back to the center. Good. Let's bring the arm to be your pillow if you don't already have a pillow there. Keep the keep the bottom knee bent and just straighten out the top leg so that that top leg, the knee is straight and the leg is in line with the rest of the spine. The top hand can be on the hip or it can be on the mat if you need a little bit of balance. Flex the foot and we're going to sweep it forward and point and sweep back. Sweep it forward and point and sweep back. And in the morning, this can be a little bit stiff. As you bring the leg forward, you might say, oh, the back of the hamstring, the calf, the sciatic area. Or as you point and sweep the leg back, you might say, oh, tight in the hip. So just take your time and you can linger where it feels good. This is a gentle get moving in the morning video, right? And as I say gentle, we move into some strengthening of the leg. Let's take it forward on this one and hold it there. And we'll do 4, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower, lift and lower. And then we'll sweep that leg back to bring it in line with the rest of the spine. And here we'll do 4, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. Gorgeous. Bend the knee, bring it in. And we're going to sit up from here, keeping those knees, if it's comfortable, both facing that way. And then just reach the arm that you were on up towards the ceiling. And really just go for height. Reach, 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 reach. Tall so that you get some length through the hip, that side of the body right up to the fingertips. If it doesn't feel comfortable to side sit like this, you could just fold the legs, or you can even stand briefly and do this length. Good. Release, bring the arms out to the sides, and we're just going to do a rotation to look away from your feet and to look towards the feet. One more time, away from the feet and towards the feet. Releasing there, swing the legs around to the other side. And starting with our, I want my mic. Starting with our rotation, are pressed together. Comfortable to have in front and the head at that funny angle, or whatever feels good. A little cushion under the head. Float the top arm up. Keep that alignment as you roll back further, reaching wide across the chest. Breathe in and exhale. Back to the center. Breath in. Close up with the thumb. Follow it as you rotate back. Keep the knees pressed together here. And just breathe in for a full, beautiful breath in. Beautiful breath out. Breath in. Try to reach wider across the chest. Keep the shoulder away from the ear. And then close it all up. Does that feel good? Your pillow. Bottom knee stays nice and straight, or nice and bent. The top leg straightens. Maybe we should have had coffee before this video. Flex the foot and start your sweep of that straight leg forward, staying parallel to the floor, and point and sweep back. Bring it forward and sweep back. And you're looking for the waist to stay still here. Feel some length in the hip and the leg. Not quite. So this is your opportunity. And then point and sweep back. The pelvis, but get that upper leg over a little bit. And the next one we'll add our little pulses, our little lift. So sweep. For 2, for 1, and then sweep it back. Keep that leg in line with the rest of the spine and lift here for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Awesome. And bend the knee. Good. Come up to your side sitting. Remembering you can always just cross the legs if the hips don't like this movement. Take the arm you were on though and reach it towards the ceiling. Get that length from that hip right up through the side of the body this morning. You don't have to be doing this in the morning, but it does feel good. Breathe in. And then take the arms out to the side, and you're just going to do 2 rotations where you rotate away from the legs, and you rotate back to the center and towards the legs. Thinking about always getting tall. Yeah. Beautiful. And release. Good. And then we're going to come on to hands and knees for a little finale. Final thing to warm us up this morning. Have the hands, the fingers nice and spread. Good. We're going to do a beautiful cat stretch. And not being specific about it this morning, but just globally curling to be in that beautiful arched position. Breathing in when you're there. Releasing back to nice neutral. Curling the toes underneath. Taking a moment if you need to sort of step into the toes to warm them up. Sometimes they're feeling a little stiff. Oh, we don't want to say the word arthritis, but maybe there's some there. And then nice breath in to prepare once you're comfortable on the toes. And exhale, lift the pelvic floor, draw in with the deep belly. Be strong in the shoulders as you hover the knees. Release the knees, uncurl the toes into your cat stretch. Keep the shoulders away from the ears here. Good. Exhaling. Come back to neutral. Curl the toes under. Exhale to hover. Release the knees. Uncurl the toes. Cat stretch. Good. This time, holding that nice arched position and rocking the hips back towards the heels. Good. Before coming forward again. Releasing to neutral. Curl the toes under. Another hover. We got to be warmed up for our day, right? Good. Release the knees, uncurl the toes, cat stretch. Good. Rock the hips back towards the heels. Come forward. Release to neutral. Last hover. Curl the toes under. Hover. Hold it for a full breath cycle if you can. Nice breath in. Breath out. Breath in. And release. Uncurl the toes. Beautiful final cat stretch. Rock the hips back towards the heels. And there you can linger in your shell stretch, either bringing the forehead to the mat and the hands around by the side, or keeping the arms overhead if that's more comfortable for a little, support under the forehead or stretch forward. And as you breathe in, you're breathing in, you're filling the low back space with air. Trying to be a little bit progressively deeper with the breath. Awesome. And on your out breath, use your hands for support if you need, or if you don't, roll it up without the arms. 2 nice tall kneeling. Take a nice breath, bring those arms overhead. Interlace the fingers behind the head. And 2 big butterflies. Beautiful butterfly to lift the chest. Exhale to nod the chin, to round the upper spine down to the shoulder blades. Breath into butterfly open. Exhale to round it forward. And then releasing. Good. And then you're done. You're ready for the day. Hope you feel good and warmed up, mobile. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. Ciao.